Hello lovelies. So I'm here today because I've had a few requests I put up a story the other day with my signature my signature salmon spaghetti dish, and a lot of you wanted to know how I did it, so I thought I'd do a quick video on it because it's so easy and it's just easy to talk you through and stuff as well. So I'll take you through the ingredients that you need. So you just obviously need some smoked salmon, so I just got this from Sainsbury's. Quick tip is to get the Scottish smoked salmon trimmings as opposed to like the actual full pieces of salmon, because it's cheaper and you don't necessarily need like really good thick pieces of salmon for this because you're going to be chopping it all up anyway, and it's actually easier to, this all comes all chopped for you, so it means that you can just put it right on in there. Then you also need some flat leaf parsley, and then I currently use creme fraiche to try and make it a little bit more healthier, but you can also use double cream, or if you want to go even healthier you can use Greek yogurt. Double cream obviously does taste the best, but creme fraiche is probably like the happy medium, so it's healthier but also still tastes good. And some walnuts, and then some salt and pepper, particularly pepper for garnishing on the top. And I always have some brown spaghetti just in this little jar on the side. So I use brown spaghetti again just to make it a tiny bit healthier, but obviously you can use any pasta you want. So I don't know whether it's better to pick up the camera and sort of show you things as I'm doing it. I think it could be. So the first thing you need to do is boil your water for your pasta, because really the only bit of cooking in terms of the salmon and stuff you do is from the heat of the pasta. So this, and then whilst you've got that on the boil, you want to start chopping up the rest of your ingredients, because in the time it takes you to do that, and in the time it takes for the pasta to heat up, you should have chopped up all of your ingredients. So then all you need to do is put it all in at the end, and then they cook through that way. So as I was saying, this is already all chopped up, so thankfully I won't need to do much there. So I'll start with my parsley. So this you need to use to run through the pasta, but also for garnish on the top. Try and use quite a sharp knife for this so that it's nice and quick and easy for you. And like I said, whilst you're chopping up all of your ingredients, you just make sure the water is coming to a boil and put in your pasta. Wait for that to boil again after being in the kettle. So whilst that's doing that, I'll just continue with my chopping. And there's no sort of set amount for each of this, so it's all just preference, how many people you're cooking for, that kind of thing. You can always add to it if you need to. I'm going to change the angle for this. So as you can see, the water is boiling now. So I'll just grab a handful of the spaghetti. This is again just preferences to how many people you're cooking for, how much pasta you want. It's also very difficult to, because obviously the spaghetti expands as it cooks, so it's quite difficult to judge how much you'll need. I'm not doing a huge batch today, so I'm just gonna grab a handful around that, and then that can be cooking whilst I chop up the rest of my ingredients. So most spaghetti, it obviously varies by the type that you get, and pasta in general, but it takes around 10 to 12 minutes. I like to have mine what they call al dente, which means that it's got a slight bite to it. It's not super soft, because I find that when you let it get super soft, it goes a bit starchy, which I'm not a fan of. So I'll let that come to the boil again, then I'll bring it down to a simmer whilst it cooks. So I'll put a timer on for this. I'm going to do 10 minutes, and you'll see that I should be able to get the rest of it done within that time. I love the walnuts in it, so I probably go over the top on the walnuts. I just like that they add like an extra bit of crunch to it. But I'll make this sometimes for different friends that have different preferences. Like, for example, one of my friends is allergic to nuts, so I'll just leave this out and she'll have the salmon and the cream or creme fraiche and the parsley, but nothing else. So it works with whatever you want to swap in and out. Obviously you can get more creative with it as well, but I like to keep it quite simple. And again, you can just be really rough with it. This is what kind of like I prefer about cooking as over baking or anything like that, is that with baking you've got to be quite specific with the amount of stuff you're using, the method that you're sort of cooking it or baking it, whereas with cooking you can sort of just be a little bit more haphazard. So again, what I'll do is put most of these into the mixture of the pasta along with the salmon and the parsley, but I'll save a few to crumble over the top as well, just sort of like a presentation type thing. Give this a little bit of a stir through, just to make sure that it's not sticking to the bottom of the pan or anything like that. Get the salmon open and ready. Loosen it up on the board. So as I said at the beginning, maybe I didn't say this actually, but you're not cooking this in a pan or in an oven beforehand. This will just get cooked through. Obviously it's smoked salmon, so you can eat it raw anyway, but you literally just cook this with the heat of the pasta once that's ready. And that goes for everything, like you're not putting anything in the oven or anything like that, so that's what makes this so quick and easy. And if you want to get fancy with the creme fraiche, you can sort of put it in a separate bowl and add a little bit more flavour to it beforehand. So maybe some lemon juice and pepper all in one. But I'm feeling quite lazy today, so I'm just gonna do it as it is. And whilst we're waiting for the spaghetti to cook through, I am actually going to top it up a little bit more parsley. The other thing that I love about adding the parsley is it adds like a nice green colour to it. With the food that I'm eating, I hate having like a plate of beige food or stuff that's all similar colours. It's actually a large part of the reason that I eat fairly healthy and fairly balanced is that I like to have a variety of things on my plate, so it just looks better but also ends up being healthier for you. Yeah, just really roughly chop this. Maybe leave some bigger bits to garnish on the top as well, like I said. So whilst we're waiting for so we've got 5 minutes left and I'm basically done on my prep, so all that's left to do is drain the pasta, put everything all into the pot at once and give it a stir through. That's literally it. But whilst we're waiting for the pasta to cook through, I'll get the colander. I don't know what I've done with it. There we go. So I'll just put that in the sink ready to pour the spaghetti into. They do say that actually the trick is to put the colander on top like this and let the hot water drain through and leave the spaghetti in the pan. But I do think that when that happens, you always have a bit of residue water left. So I like to do it the normal way and just pour it all down into the sink before. But yeah, that's it. And so I'll catch up with you when the spaghetti's ready, I guess.
Food ready?
Oh my god, you scared me.
Is the food ready?
No! Stop. Oh. You scared me.
I just wanted a little nibble.
No.
See that, guys? I don't even get to taste it.
Yes,
All this
you
good
do.
cooking.
You can taste it, but there's nothing to taste yet. We're just waiting for spaghetti to boil. We'll just cook.
Let's go, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to, sorry.
You just burst through the door.
I thought you were wrapping the video up.
No. I've got let's go.
It sounded like you were saying, and that's it.
So we're ready. The pasta's good to go. So I'm just gonna drain this in the sink. Turn the heat off. Put this back over here. Give this a good shake to make sure all of the water's come through it. And you put this back in the same pan, making sure it's off the heat because you don't want to be cooking that pasta just directly. And then you literally just want to scrape in all of your ingredients and give it a stir through. So what I would suggest is putting the dry ingredients in first. As I say, leaving a little bit of the parsley and a little bit of the walnuts to garnish. And then I'll get out a spoon to do this. So I'll probably do a couple to begin with. Oh shoot. A couple to begin with. Stir that through, and then if I need to put any more in, I can. I'll get a little clip in a second of what this looks like in the pan, but I'm sure you can imagine it anyway. So actually I think that will do in terms of the creme fraiche. Maybe a little bit more actually, because a bit of the pasta is a bit dry. And then what I will do is go a bit crazy with the pepper. For me personally, I think it makes it taste a lot better. I'm a massive fan of black pepper. Stir that through again, and I'll put more black pepper on the top once it's been served up. And that is literally it. So as you can see, it all cooks through nicely with the heat of the pasta, so you don't have to worry about that. So then you serve that up and then garnish. We give it a little bit of a stir through because it tends to be that the dry ingredients go all to the bottom and the pasta sits on the top. So I'll just get this to help me serve it. You can always go back in, but this is just for lunch, so this is good enough for one portion, but like I said, you can go back in and get some of the good bits from the bottom. Like that. And then you just garnish with a little bit of parsley. And a few of the walnuts. Ready, ready, ready. So happy eating, everyone. Hope you enjoyed it. And tag me on Instagram, whatever, if you make it, so I can see that you guys have enjoyed and are using the recipe. Oh, my Instagram is @MillieJL, by the way.
Where are you going to put it?
Put this?
And where are you going to put it on the screen?
Oh, I don't know.
Your Instagram.
I'll put it somewhere.
Put it here.
Okay.
Tastes good? Looks good.
It's honestly so good, guys. I can't even tell you. I think it's my favourite dish.
Ever?
It's my favourite dish that I make myself. Definitely.